Howdy y'all and welcome back. BeGunners episode 15. This should be sight picture sight alignment, but I'm going to pause here before we even get into sight picture and looking at the sights and how to use them. I want to talk about flinching. I mentioned it briefly in the last video, and I feel like this is a good time to pause and actually address what is flinching. It's kind of a blanket term, and it's not always actually a flinch when it presents as a flinch, which is confusing. There are like hour-long videos on YouTube dedicated to flinching. Go down those rabbit holes and really look into it if you're really struggling with this, because it can be very frustrating. It can be frustrating to new shooters as well as long-time experienced shooters. For myself, on a given day, I'll get to the range and just be Flinchy McFlincherson, and then I'll settle down and start shooting well. Other times I'll get to the range and I'm Deadeye McCoy, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere the flinch monster gets all over me and I'm shooting low and left or what. So if you're new and you're struggling with this, just understand it's not just you, it's very natural. So before we get into flinching, or as it's probably more properly called, recoil anticipation, let's talk about a couple of things that can present very similar, and that would be milking or heeling. So milking is when you go to pull your trigger and you're pulling your trigger finger, but you're also pulling your pinky, or kind of these bottom two fingers. So it ends up looking kind of like this, and you can see the muzzle drops down. So right at the moment I'm pulling the trigger, obviously I'm going to hit low, right? Gun goes bang, muzzle is pointed down, I'm going to hit low. And then heeling is kind of the opposite, where you're pulling the trigger and you're kind of doing that, and you're going to be hitting a little high. So those are two things that are similar to flinching, but they're not flinching. Those are actually grip issues and can be corrected very often by applying more pressure with your support hand. If you're shooting one-handed, you just got to figure it out. What can be helpful is to just really loosen your grip on these bottom fingers and concentrate more on the ring, your middle finger. Really grip in and then kind of try to relax the bottom two. You just got to feel it out. But flinching or recoil anticipation is something that comes from the soul. It comes from deep within us, and it's hardwired into us. And I have a little clip here. This is super cool. So a viewer reached out the other day, hit me up on Facebook Messenger, and he's like, hey, I'm brand new to guns. I got a Glock 19. I've already got an optic for it, but should I start learning and getting better with just iron sights, or should I go ahead and mount the dot? And he mentioned that he was here in the Houston area, not real close, kind of the extreme opposite side of Houston. But I was like, bro, what are you doing tomorrow? He hit me up on Friday. I was like, what are you doing tomorrow? So we got together yesterday, and super cool. We spent like 5 hours out here in the garage talking guns, and we got his dot all set up and hopefully pretty squared away. So here is a short clip of us doing a little recoil anticipation drill. So the recoil anticipation drill, I want you to just punch out and resist. So I am going to be the recoil. Okay, and all I want you to do, go ahead and split your stance just a little bit. There we go. And we're going to go bang, bang, bang. Fight me a little more, like really frame up on me. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, you were good. That was really good. But did you feel it? Yep. Almost?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so let's run through it a little more. Bang, 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 bang. That's your recoil anticipation. Okay. That's why you shoot low left. It's just you're hardwired. It's like your nervous system feels that next impulse coming up and starts just before you've actually pulled the trigger, your body is doing that. And it's just a split second, but it's enough. If you did it really bad, you'd hit the dirt, right? But you're doing it just enough that you end up here. And when you're right-handed, it breaks that way. If you're left-handed, it breaks down here. So you did amazing though. I'm impressed. Yeah. All right, so thank you so much, Jacob, for allowing me to use you as demonstration. And again, this is not just him. In fact, he did really, really well in this drill. I fail it hard. Like when I have someone do this with me, I'm like, Gugger! So you did great, bro. But this is just hardwired in us. And that is generally a flinch, is when you're expecting that recoil and you just a little bit like right before the bullet isn't out of the barrel yet. And so it dips down. And again, if you're right-handed, you're going to present low and left. And if you're left-handed, you're going to present low and right generally. A great way to diagnose if this is what's going on is the ball and dummy drill. Again, I have mentioned you should have some snap caps at this point. If you don't, order some snap caps. Go on Amazon, they're cheap. And what you do is, it's great if you can have a partner with you and have them load the magazine, but you can do this with just by yourself. So if you have like 3 magazines, just randomly stuff a couple of live rounds and then a dummy, and then a few more live rounds and then a dummy, and then a few more. Go ahead and fill up the magazine, set that one down, do it again. Try not to count how many you're putting in, just make it as random as possible, but try to have like 2 or 3 dummy rounds in each magazine, and then maybe shuffle the magazines around a little bit so you really don't know which one's which. Put it in the gun. When you start shooting, you're gonna bang, bang, click, bang, bang, click. And so that's gonna really like cue you into, wow, I am really flinching badly. So then, how do we stop doing it? There are tons and tons of videos on YouTube. I've never really found one that was like the magic bullet, bad pun intended, like cure for my flinching. You just have to stop doing it. So one thing that I will do at the range is just take the magazine out, clear the gun, and just stand and do some dry presses and dry presses and dry presses, and then go ahead, load back up. And generally that will kind of self-correct. It's something about just slowing down and just doing it without the bang, without the recoil, calms everything down, kind of resets the nervous system, and I'm back to shooting the way I want to shoot. It doesn't always totally cure it, but it's a big, big help. Probably the most helpful thing I have found in practice sessions. But there's also how badly are you flinching, right? So if you're just missing the whole last paper, you've probably got other things going on, like a major grip correction. You're probably not giving nearly enough pressure with your support hand. So you've got like a combination of things coming together, and that amplifies the effects of your flinch. So you've got to get it all put together, really have a solid foundation of grip, trigger press, sight picture and sight alignment really isn't, I mean, they matter, but not nearly as much as new shooters want to think that they matter. And here is a good example of why. All right, we've got the Pink Rhino laser cartridge in the Glock 19. We are at exactly 3 yards to the target. A little dark in here, so if the autofocus on the camera struggles, I apologize, but I want you to be able to see where my hits are landing. And up, a little high, pretty close, a little bit low left, a little low left. All right, so you get the point, right? I'm not using any sights at all, and I'm shooting from down here. At 3 yards, not a big deal. Are they perfect hits? No, but would they work in self-defense? Yes. So as you can see, getting all hung up on having perfect sight picture isn't what you might think it is. It matters, but not nearly as much as your grip, trigger press, and not flinching. So again, work on it. All starts with the foundation, your stance, your footing, your framing, your grip, your trigger press. From there, we'll get into sight alignment next, but really back it up, slow it down, figure out if flinching is really what's causing you the big misses, or like I said, lots and lots of low and left with an occasional bullseye, or if you're left-handed, lots and lots of low right with an occasional bullseye, you're flinching. So we'll talk more about this later, but I wanted to address the topic of recoil anticipation now before we start dialing in our sight picture sight alignment. So that's all I got for this one. Until next time, be easy, y'all.